Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are watching and you are listening to episode number 64 of the Rock Out Wild Show, where it's not just a show, it is a way of life. Now, if you are new to this video and if you are new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very video. You can also rate, like, dislike this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show. And you can also share it on all of your social media platforms, from your Facebook to any groups or pages that you have on Facebook, to your YouTube as well, to your X, to your Blue Sky, your Snapchat, your Instagram, what have you. And let everyone know what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about, from your family to your friends to your coworkers to your acquaintances. Tell everyone about the Rock Out Wild Show. And as you see from the title of this very video, seeing as it is April Fool's Day, April 1st, 2026, I will be going over an article about why April Fool's Day is celebrated. So that will be the main event of this very episode. Also, we are going to take a look at on this day for April 1st in the world of music, sports, film and television, as well as wrestling. But to kick things off for episode 64 of the Rock Out Wild Show, I will be reacting to an old movie review of mine, a movie called McFarland USA starring Kevin Costner. So what I'm going to do is open up the webcam first and say hi to everyone watching this right now. So I'm going to present, share screen, and I'm going to go to this movie review. And before I react to my movie review for McFarland USA, I'm going to predict the amount of points that I gave this back in 2015. And because it's a sports movie starring Kevin Costner, I think this may have been an uplifting, feel-good type of movie as far as I could remember, if my memory serves me correctly. So I have a feeling I was kind of positive on this movie, and my prediction for the amount of points that I gave this, I would say roughly about 84 out of 100. So that's my prediction, 84, hold me to it, and let's react. In 3, 2, 1, action. I love a good inspirational movie every now and then. Hey, what's up and how's it going, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review Show. Right now I'm going to review McFarland USA, and this is based on a true story about an ex-football coach who gets fired due to an altercation backstage by throwing a shoe at another football player who is pretty much pushing his buttons. And now he and his family have to move to a small little town in California called McFarland USA. And then he transforms a team of athletes into championship contenders. He is a football assistant at first, but then he realizes the potential of these football players and realizes that they are really good at running. And I mean, they are really fast at running, to say the very least. And then he joins them and puts them all together to form a team and to go on and win the state cup and the cup and basically go on and be the best that they can be. And this movie stars Kevin Costner. Yep. And I think you can do no wrong with this guy. He's a cool guy. He was great in this movie. End of conversation. There you go. You also have Maria Bello in this movie, who plays his wife. And what I like about Maria Bello's character in this movie is that you don't get that nagging wife, you know, that someone that says, yeah, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, blah, 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 blah. No, she is actually really supportive of Kevin Costner and what his choices are. She is the guardian angel to him. She's the one that influences Kevin Costner, his character, and so I like the back and forth with the two of them. They both have great chemistry with each other, and let's just leave it at that. And you also have Carlos
Peretz as Thomas, as the leading runner in this movie, who can run really fast. And I have to say, watch out for this guy. I think this is another new up and comer. To me, he is the breakout performer in this movie.
I
He
didn't see him
done
in much after.
extremely well as Thomas in this movie, and mostly due to the talking and the dialogue and back and forth with his coach Kevin Costner. And I think due to Kevin Costner's experience as an actor, he brought out the best in Carlos Pratt and made him a contender when it comes to the movie business. And I think he also done a pretty good job. And I
Hmm.
like this movie overall. It's a well acted movie.
Yep.
It's also well directed, very well written.
Yep.
It's a pretty light-hearted movie.
Right.
And what I really like is that not only does this movie concentrate on the cross country aspect, that sport aspect, but
Hmm.
this movie really focuses on the family and culture more than the cross country.
Right.
And I like that because, it shows that Kevin Costner is really humbled in this main role and what he realizes what these people have to go through in their daily lives, and he actually walks a mile in their shoes. I mean,
Right.
there's a scene where he's working out in the fields with these guys, and then he hurts his back, and he realizes, you know what? I'm really humbled right now, and these people have really humbled me, and I see what these people really have to go through, and
Yeah.
I really don't blame them. That's Kevin Costner in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. And I think Kevin Costner, like I said, can never do any wrong. The
Yep.
guy is a great actor.
Damn straight.
And what I also like about this movie is that, the race scenes, they're very grueling, they're very intense, especially the last
Mhm.
race where it gets really suspenseful. You don't know if they're going to win or not. So I really like how this movie was very uplifting. It was very
Inspiring.
inspiring, to say
Yeah.
the very least. Sometimes it got a little heavy-handed, it gets a little over dramatic, but I can
Right.
get past that. The movie is also predictable and has its cliche moments,
Oh
but you
yeah.
kind of forget about that
It's
because
anything.
the movie is so lighthearted and has a heavy heart. You can get past some of these nitpicks, and you can walk out of this movie with a big smile on your face. And that's why I think McFarland is definitely a great movie. And I will say that delivered 89 points
Oh,
out of
off
100.
by 5.
Go see this movie if you see this in the theaters.
Mm.
And if you already saw it, what did you think about it? Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below and give me your thoughts about McFarland USA. And you can also hit that subscribe button down below this video as well to get McRocked.
So that was my reaction to my review for McFarland USA. That was the way I see it. That's probably my favorite review that I've watched that I replayed so far. I think this review for McFarland USA is where I really started to improve as a movie reviewer, as being someone who's well thought out. The more I review movies, the better at it I get. I think that review there for me was the turning point of me thinking of a thought process of how I break down a movie. So I think that was that movie right there. And as far as this review itself, I would definitely go back and watch this movie again. I was only off by 5 points with this. I predicted 84. My actual points that I gave it was 89. So I got it in the range of the 80s, and I knew it was high as that. So this is a movie that if I do see it as a maybe on a digital media platform like a Netflix or a Hulu or whatever, I would definitely watch this again. I don't know if I would go out and actually buy the movie, but I would definitely watch it if I see it somewhere on anything. So that's my uh, look at McFarland USA back in hindsight. We all know hindsight is 2020. And so I think this review holds up to this very day in terms of a quality type of review from yours truly. So that's my whole take on the whole thing. And we are going to move on to the next segment of the Rock Out Wild show, and that is a installment I like to call On This Day. And the first thing we're going to look at is music. So let's present, share screen, and let's take a look to see what happened in the world in music for April the 1st in years past. Here's a picture of Marvin Gaye right there. And it says, an unthinkable tragedy takes the life of soul star Marvin Gaye. It was on this day in music, April 1st, 1984. Soul star Marvin Gaye died after being fatally shot by his father during a heated altercation over mislaid insurance documents. The shooting, which occurred one day before Gaye's 45th birthday, came at a time when the Washington, D.C.-born singer-songwriter was enjoying a career resurgence sparkled by the success of his 1982 single Sexual Healing and his parent album Midnight Love. Gaye rose to fame at Detroit's Motown Records, where he racked up 13 number one singles on the Billboard R&B chart between 1962 and 1981. Though it was an album artist that he made his biggest impact, releasing the acclaimed concept LP What's Going On in 1971. In 1966, David Bowie, born David Jones, released his maiden solo single, Do Anything You Say, on the Pie label. Produced by Tony Hatch, it was the London artist's first recording under his new stage name. In the year 2020, singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Adam Schlesinger died at the age of 52 from COVID-19. Schlesinger was best known as the co-founder of the power pop band Fountains of Wayne, with whom he released 5 albums. The Emmy and Grammy-winning artist who penned the hit theme from 1996, That Thing You Do, was also an accomplished songwriter for the film, theater, and television. In 1989, the Bangles scored their only British chart-topping single with Eternal Flame, taken from the all-girl group's third album, Everything. The record was the Los Angeles Quartet's second U.S. number one, following 1986's Walk Like an Egyptian. In 1976, Pick Up Sticks, pioneering British punk band, the Buzzcocks, played their first show at the Bolton's Institute of Technology, though the concert didn't last long. Maybe the name of their band, Buzzcocks, may have something to do with it. Yeah, they're called Buzzcocks. After 3 numbers, the gig was brought to a premature close by power outage. I can go on and on about that band title, but I'm going to continue on. In the year 2000, when We Will Make It Up to You, Santana scored their first number one album in the UK with Supernatural. The long-running Latin music group's 18th studio album, which featured a variety of guest stars, eventually sold over 30 million copies worldwide and earned 8 Grammy Awards. One of those songs on that album, one of my favorites of all time, is Smooth, featuring Rob Thomas. And in 1985, Van Halen's charismatic frontman David Lee Roth quit the band after 6 albums. Ex-Montreal singer Sammy Hagar replaced him. Aha, yeah! And we have some birthdays here for April the 1st in music. We have Rudolph Isley from the Isley Brothers, who was born in 1939. Rodney Lane from Small Faces was born on this day in 1946. Born on April 1st, 1952. Billy Currie from Ultravox. And then we got Jeff Porcaro from Toto was born on this day in 1954. In 1961, Susan Boyle was born. Peter O'Toole from Hothouse Flowers was born on this day in 1965. And from Lady A, Hillary Scott was born April 1st, 1986. Those are the events that happened on this day in the world of music. Now let's take a look at what happened on this day for April 1st in years past in the world of sports. In 1888, students from Rotterdam, Netherlands established a cricket club called Rotterdamsche Cricket and Football Club Sparta, which evolves into Sparta Rotterdam. This is Sparta! In 1919, Stanley Cup Final, Seattle Ice Arena, Seattle, Washington, with Montreal Canadiens and Seattle Metropolitans tied at 2-1, trophy not awarded due to a worldwide flu epidemic. 1920, Stanley Cup Final, Mutual Street Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Jack Duraga scores a hat trick as Ottawa Senators beat Seattle Metropolitans 6-1 for a 3-2 series win. In 1926, Montreal Maroons' Clint Benedict becomes the first NHL goalie to record 3 straight playoff shutouts in a 3-0 win against visiting Victoria Cougars in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Championship Series. In 1930, American golfer Bobby Jones starts his Grand Slam season by winning the Southeastern Open by 13 strokes over Horton Smith at the Forest Hills Ricker Golf Course in Atlanta, Georgia. Also in 1930, Chicago Cubs catcher Leo Hartnett breaks the altitude record for a catch by gloving a baseball dropped from the Goodyear Blip 800 feet over Los Angeles, California. Yeah, it's a freaking blip. In 1931, Jackie Mitchell becomes the second female in organized baseball when she signs with the Chattanooga Lookouts Baseball Club. In 1933, England cricket batsman Wally Hammond smashes 34 fours, 10 sixes, and a test record unbeaten 336 in the drawn second test against New Zealand in Auckland. Also in 1933, Scotland led a bit Ireland 8-6 at Lansdowne Road, Dublin to win the Home Nations Rugby Championship at the Triple Crown. Oi, where are my bagpipes? Moving on, 1938, World Heavyweight Boxing Champion Joe Louis KOs Harry Thomas in 5th round of their title bout in Chicago. Their defense by Louis. In 1948, fast bowlers Hines Johnson has match figures of 10-96 on debut in West Indies' 4th cricket test win versus England in Kingston, Jamaica. First fast bowler to take 10 wickets in a single test for West Indies. In 1953, West Indian cricket batsmen Frank Worrell, Clyde Walcott, and Everton Weekes all make centuries in first inning of drawn 5th test versus India in Kingston, Jamaica. In 1954, Detroit Red Wings right wing Gordie Howe scores 2 goals and an assist and sets Stanley Cup playoff record for fastest goal from the start of a game, 9 seconds, in a 4-3-2 overtime win over Toronto in Game 5 of the semifinals. In 1963, New York Mets purchased future baseball Hall of Famer outfielder Duke Snider from the LA Dodgers for $40,000. Snider had starred for the Brooklyn Dodgers 1947 to 1957. In 1969, Seattle Pilots trade the little-known minor league outfielder Lou Piniella to Kansas City Royals for 2 prospects. Hits 2.282 with 11 home runs and 68 RBI to win AL Rookie of the Year, becoming leading MLB manager. In 1970, federal bankruptcy referee Sidney Volun declares MLB Seattle Pilots bankrupt. Car dealer Bug Seal buys franchise for $10.8 million and moves club to Milwaukee Brewers. In 1972, MLB, write that one down, MLB players stage first ever collective strike. Play resumes when owners and players agreed to $500,000 increase in pension fund payments. In 1973, Boston Celtics captain John Havlicek scores career-high 54 points in 134-109 rout of Atlanta Hawks in Game 1 of first-round Eastern Conference playoffs. Hits NBA playoff record of 24 of 36 field goal attempts. In 1973 also, despite a final round, 5-3 loss to Montreal, Boston Bruins center Phil Esposito wins his third consecutive NHL scoring title with 130 points from 55 goals and 75 assists in the 78-game season. 1978, 132nd Grand National, Bob Davis abroad, 14-1 chance. Louise wins by half a length from Sebastian V. In 1978, New York Islanders right wing Mike Bossy becomes first NHL rookie to score 50 goals in a season after scoring number 50 and number 51 in the closing moments in a 3-2 win over Washington. In 1981, Edmonton center Wayne Gretzky had an assist, his 103rd, in the Oilers' 4-4 tie with Colorado Rockies to break Bobby Orr's 10-year mark for most assists in a single NHL season. In 1982, Quebec center Peter Stastny scores fourth career hat trick and 4 assists, and his brother Marianne adds 5 assists to lead the Nordiques to an 8-5 win at Boston. In 1984, third NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, USC goes back-to-back, beats Tennessee 72-61. Cheryl Miller's second consecutive MLP award. Also in 1984, PGA Tournament Players Championship, TPC at Sawgrass. 24-year-old Fred Couples finishes at 277 minus 11, 1 stroke ahead of runner-up Lee Trevino. In 1985, 47th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, Villanova beats Georgetown 66-64. Wildcat, lowest seeded team, 8th to win tournament. In 1986, Ranji Trophy Men's Cricket, Feroz Shah Kolta, Delhi beats Haryana by innings and 141. Manjul Prabhakar 113, Kurti Azad 107, Mohander Aramanth 194, AJ Sharma 110. In 1989, A. Bartlett Giamatti replaces Peter Yerabov as 7th commissioner of Major League Baseball, dies suddenly of a heart attack 5 months later. In 1990, 9th NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, Stanford beats Auburn 88-81, Cardinal point guard Jennifer Azzi, MLP. Also in 1990, Nabisco Diana Shore Women's Golf Mission Hills. Betsy King wins the second of her third Danish Shore events, 2 strokes ahead by Shirley Furlong and Kathy Postwaite. In 1990 also, the Tradition Senior Men's Golf GC at Desert Mountain. Jack Nicklaus wins his first start on the Senior PGA Tour by 4 strokes from Gary Player. In 1991, 53rd NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, Duke beats Kansas. Carry on my wayward son. 72-65. Blue Devils first title power forward Christian Latner, MLP. In 1992, NHL players began first strike in 75-year history. 10-day action earns large playoff bonus increase, more control over licensing of their likeness, and changes to free agency system. In 1992 also, Sheffield Shields Men's Cricket Final, Perth. West Australia beats NSW by 44 runs, Justin Langner 149. In 1993, reigning NASCIR Winston Cup Championship, Alan Kulwacki perishes in a private plane crash en route to Bristol for the Food City 500. In 1995, Blackburn Rovers striker Chris Sutton scores fastest goal in English Premier League history, scoring nets after 12.94 seconds in a 2-1 win at Everton. Also in 95, New York Islanders retire Swedish right wing Bobby Nyström uniform number 23. Unlucky number 23, I might add. In 1996, 58th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, Kentucky beat Syracuse 76-67, Wildcats' 6th national championship. Also in 1996, Howard Stern radio show premieres in Boston, Massachusetts on WBCN 104.1 FM in the live morning drive slot. Also in 1996, veteran American MLB umpire John McSherry passes away of a heart attack while umpiring on opening day at the Cincinnati Reds Riverfront Stadium. He was 51. In 1999, Detroit Pistons guard Joe Dumars becomes 10th player in NBA history to play 1,000 games with the same team and one of 8 to play 1,000 games with his only team. Scores 18 points in 107-75 rout of Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls. Not Bills. Those are the Buffalo Bills. I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls. Write that one down. Also in 1999, Philadelphia 76ers head coach Larry Brown wins his 900th pro game with an 88-84 win over Miami Heat. Brown records 671 to 547, NBA 229 to 107, ABA combined 900 to 654. In the year 2000, when we would make it up to you, American boxer Chris Bird wins WBO heavyweight title after Ukraine champion Vitaly Klitschko retires with a shoulder injury at the end of the 9th round in Berlin, Germany. Also in the year 2000, Michelle Kwan pushes through all 7 triple jumps at the Palais des Expositions in Nice, France, to become the first American since Peggy Fleming to win 3 world figure skating titles. In the year 2001, 20th NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, Notre Dame beats Purdue 68-66. Fighting Irish forward Ruth Riley is named Most Outstanding Player. In 2002, 64th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, Maryland beats India 64-52. Terrapins' first title in the first title game. In 2007, American super swimmer Michael Phelps smashes his own world record in the 400-meter individual medley to win his record 7th gold medal at the World Championships in Melbourne, Australia. In 2007, Kraft Nabisco Championship Women's Golf. Mission Hills, Morgan Peresel wins by 1 from Brittany Litnicole, Katrina Matthew, and Susan Peterson. Youngest ever winner of an LPGA major at 18 years, 313 days. In 2008, New York Yankees set an MLB record by winning their 11th straight home opener, 3-2 against Toronto Blue Jays. In 2012, Kraft Nabisco Championship Women's Golf, Mission Hills. Sung Young wins sudden death playoff on first extra hole after a 1-point K. Kim misses a 1-foot putt on the 72 hole for the win. In 2016, the Golden State Warriors NBA record-winning home run ends at 54 games with a 109-106 defeat to the Boston Celtics. The loss at Oracle Arena was the Warriors' first since January 2015. In 2018, the 37th NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, Notre Dame beats Mississippi State 61-58, Fighting Irish forward Jessica Shepard 19 points. In 2020, All England Lawn Tennis Club cancels Wimbledon for the first time since World War II because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Entire grass course season abandoned. And in 2024, Houston Astros pitcher Ronald Blanco no-hits Toronto Blue Jays 10-0 at Minute Maid Park in Houston. And those are the events that happened on this day in the world of sports for April the 1st. Now let's take a look at what happened on this day for April 1st in the world of film and television. In 1930, A Blue Angel starring Marlene Dietrich in her breakthrough role premieres in Germany. In 1947, Shin Takujima, New Treasure Island by Osamu Tezuka, published first manga cartoon in Takononbun form. In 1953, KXMC TV Channel 13 in Minot, ND begins broadcasting. In 1954, WQED TV Channel 13 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania begins broadcasting. In 1955, WTVT TV Channel 13 in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida begins broadcast. In 1956, KPIC TV Channel 4 in Roseburg, Oregon begins broadcasting. In 1957, WYES TV Channel 12 in New Orleans, Louisiana begins broadcasting. In 1958, KVIQ TV Channel 6 in Eureka, California begins broadcasting. In 1963, American television soap opera premieres General Hospital, ABC, and Doctors on NBC. In 1968, KEMO, now KOFY TV Channel 20, in San Francisco, California, first broadcast. In 1974, Pioneer Hall opens at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort in Campground, Florida. In 1976, Helter Skelter, The Beatles, if you know, you know. Helter Skelter, detailing Charles Manson's cult family, their capture, trial, conviction, and aftermath, premieres on CBS. Jeez, look at that guy. Talk about follow the buzzards. That's all I'm going to say. In 1977, Gene Shepard, American humorist and storyteller, ends long-running radio program on WORAM in New York City after more than 22 years. In 1978, last episode of the Bob Newhart Show sitcom, The Chicago One, airs on CBS TV. In 1981, CBS TV channel... I'll try that again. In 1981, CBS TV special Country Comes Home includes final television appearance of songwriter Hoagy Carmichael in a duet segment with country star Crystal Gale. In 1981, CNN airs a videotape that shows that Tamara Rand predicted that Reagan is in danger from someone named Jack Humley, a hoax. In 1990, Comedy Channel on cable TV begins broadcasting. In 1990, WrestleMania 6 in Skydome, Toronto, Ontario, The Ultimate Warrior beats Hulk Hogan brother for the WWF Heavyweight and Intercontinental title before a crowd of 67,678 people. In the year 2001, WrestleMania 17, Astrodome, Houston, Texas, Stone Cold Steve Austin beats The Rock in a no disqualification match for the WWF Championship. I can't stand that match. If it weren't for that heel turn, that would have been a great match. Moving on. WrestleMania. This one I do believe is XXIII. That would be 23, yes. In 2007, WrestleMania 23, Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, John Cena beats the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker defeats the Animal Batista. And Bobby Lashley drowns Umaga. In 2011, Alan Rickman's last performance in Seminar on Broadway. In 2012, 32nd Golden Raspberry Awards. Jack and Jill wins. as it should. Also in 2012, WrestleMania XXVIII, Sun Life Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida. I do believe that's 28. Yes, it is. The Rock defeats John Cena, titled Once in a Lifetime, which turned out to be twice in a lifetime the year after. In 2025, legendary movie poster artist Drew Struzan announces he can no longer paint due to Alzheimer's. Struzan is known for illustrating over 150 movie posters, including Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Blade Runner, and Back to the Future. And those are the events that happened in the world of film and television for April the 1st. And for the final portion of this segment called On This Day, we're going to take a look at wrestling in years past for April 1st. As you see the picture right there of Edge about to spear Jeff Hardy off the ladder in the infamous TLC match at WrestleMania 17. In 1973, Jim Crockett Sr. passed away at the age of 63. He was a wrestling promoter and also a multi-sport franchise owner with a number of different ice, hockey, and baseball teams. When Crockett Sr. passed away, his son Jim Crockett Jr. took control of many of the wrestling territory responsibilities, which was renamed Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. He was inducted into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame class in 2015. In 1990, WrestleMania 6 was held in the Toronto Sky Dome in front of 67,678 fans, which included a future rated R superstar in the crowd. This was the first WrestleMania to be held outside of the U.S. and to feature a face versus face match where both of the promotions' premier championships were on the line. And here's a little brief look at what the WrestleMania 6 card was. You can pause it, you can skim through it, I'll let you go over it, and I will continue on with On This Day. In 1996, the post-WrestleMania 12 live as taped editions of WWF Raw came from St. Bernardo in California. Wildman Mark Merrow made his WWF TV debut with a victory over Isaac Yankem, DSS, as we all know as Kane, and after the match rescued Sable, his real-life wife, Rena, at that time, from a berating by Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who's Triple H. Also, Mankind defeated Bob Sparkplug Holly in his WWF TV debut, and at the end of the live edition, attacked The Undertaker in his main event match against Justin Hawk Bradshaw. On the taped editions, Goldust's Intercontinental title was held up after a controversial ending to a title match against Savio Vega. However, Goldust defeated Vega in a rematch at the same tapings to officially claim back the championship. In 2001, WrestleMania XVII was held in Relentless Amsterdam in Houston, Texas, in front of 67,925 fans, which was the second largest WrestleMania crowd at the time. This was the first Mania to be held in a stadium-sized venue since the 1992 edition. Many long-term faces and critics regard this edition of Mania as the greatest of all time. I think it's overrated, based on the combination of gimmick matches, nostalgia, and strong, poignant main event with two of sports entertainment's highly loved and respected performers. And here's a look at the WrestleMania 17 card right there, just to give you a little bit of a quick look at it. And let me tell you something. I cannot stand that last match. Cannot stand it. Don't like it. The ending sucked. It made the whole show suck too. That's why I think it's overrated. It represents so many things like the death of WCW and ECW. I don't know how WrestleMania 17 is celebrated, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, let's continue on. In 2002, Barbara Ray Dudley defeated Raven for the WWF Hardcore title on WWF Monday Night Raw from Albany, New York. In 2006, at ROH Better Than Our Best in Chicago, Bryan Danielson retained the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title against Lance Storm, if you could be serious for a moment. Austin Aries and Roderick Strong retained the ROH World Tag Team titles against Sema and Nariki Doi. I have no idea who they are. Also on the card, Samoa Joe defeated AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Jimmy Yang in a Four Corners match, and Colt Cabana pinned Homicide in a Fight Without Honor match in the main event. In 2007, WrestleMania 23 was held for the first time in Ford Field in Detroit in front of a record-breaking 80,103 fans. This was the second Mania to be held in the Detroit era, and the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, sung America the Beautiful at the start of the pay-per-view for the second time in 20 years. Ticket sales for the event grossed over $5 million, and an estimated $25 million was pumped into the local economy. Also, this was the company's most bought pay-per-view at the time, with 1.21 million purchases in the States. And here's a look at what the card was, including the pre-show match and the first match. And then you got the Money in the Bank match and all that stuff. I will say WrestleMania 23, I think, in my opinion, far superior than WrestleMania 17. And I'll just leave it at that. Let's continue on. Oh, yeah, and of course, the head shave with Vince. That was WrestleMania 23 as well. I almost forgot about that. In 2012, WrestleMania XXVII was held in the Sun Life Stadium in Miami in front of 78,363 fans. For the first time in history, WrestleMania match was announced a year in advance, which helped to the event to achieve the highest grossing pay-per-view receipts in pro wrestling at that time. So this was WrestleMania 28. And here's a look at what the match card was. And of course, the main event was The Rock defeating John Cena. That was billed as once in a lifetime, but we all know that happened again. And of course, the infamous Hell in a Cell match I thought was really, really good. In 2016, Finn Balor retained the NXT Championship against Samoa Joe in the main event of NXT TakeOver Dallas. Also, Asuka defeated Bayley for the NXT Women's title, and American Alpha defeated the Rival for the NXT Tag Team Championships. This event is considered by many as the greatest NXT TakeOver of all time, and also included a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn that simultaneously acted as Nakamura's WWE debut and Zayn's last match on the NXT brand. And that match I thought was really, really good. In 2017, Bobby Roode retained the NXT Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event of NXT TakeOver Orlando, which was another really good takeover. And we have some notable wrestling birthdays here. Jesse Sorensen was born on April 1st, 1989. Born in 1983. Scorpio Sky. And born on April 1st, 1980 is Randall Keith Orton. And I think he still hears voices in his head to this very day. And those are the events in professional wrestling for April the 1st. And now it is about that time that we get to the main event for episode 64 of the Rock Out Wild Show. And seeing as today is April the 1st, which is April Fool's Day, I think it's only fitting that I go over a topic and I found an article online that's called "Why is April Fool's Day Celebrated?" So I'm going to take a look at that right now. So I'm going to share screen, and let's see what this article is all about. As you see here, there's a picture, like a graphic novel, comic book strip, and the title of this is called "Why is April Fool's Day Celebrated?" And we have history, fun facts, and global traditions. This was uploaded on the website called thepunside.com. And this article was published on February the 25th, 2026 by Punny Parker. And we will go over this. So April Fool's Day, celebrated every year on April 1st, It's a day dedicated to laughter, pranks, and harmless tricks. But have you ever wondered why we actually celebrate Fool's Day? From sticking kick me signs in school hallways to viral internet hoaxes. Kick me signs I have done in school. I am guilty as charged of doing that. This day has a long and fascinating history that spans centuries and cultures. What started as a quirky way to confuse people has evolved into a global tradition, bringing joy, surprise, and even creativity to those who participate. Across the different countries, April Fool's Day is celebrated in unique ways, from France's Poisson d'Avril, April Fish, to Scotland's Hunt the Gawk prank. Beyond the jokes, this day also highlights the human love for humor, social bonding, and playful mischief. In this article, we'll uncover the origins, traditions, and cultural significance of April Fools. So you'll know exactly why this fun-filled day continues to capture imaginations worldwide. Then we get into the historical origins of April Fool's Day here. The origins of April Fool's Day are a fascinating mix of history, culture, and calendar confusion. One of the most widely accepted explanations dates back to the 16th century France. In 1582, France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar as decreed by Pope Gregory the 13th. This change moved the start of the new year from April 1st to January the 1st. People who continued to celebrate the new year in late March through April 1st were teased and mocked by others. They became the first April Fools. So there's a bit of a history there for you. However, some historians trace the roots even further, suggesting links to ancient Roman festivals like Hilaria, which is, I'm guessing, came from the term hilarious, and celebrated at the end of March with costumes, jokes, and playful tricks. Similarly, medieval Europe had springtime festivals that encouraged harmless mischief, symbolizing the end of winter and the arrival of spring's renewal. The day gradually spread across Europe and evolved differently in each culture. In France, the famous Poisson d'Avril of April Fish involved placing paper fish on people's backs as a prank. Scotland has a similar tradition called Hunt the Gawk, where people were sent on fool's errands. Though its exact origin remains uncertain, it's clear that April Fool's Day has century-old roots in human celebration, social humor, and seasonal rituals. Over time, it transformed from local customs and calendar jokes into a global day of laughter and pranks. And we have here's a section of April Fool's Day around the world. April Fool's Day is not just a Western tradition. It has been embraced in various forms across the globe, with each country adding its own unique twist to the celebrations. In France, the day is famously known as Poisson d'Avril, or April Fish. People playfully attach paper fish to others' backs without them noticing, symbolizing a harmless and fun prank. The tradition is so popular that French children often exchange small jokes and sweet treats along with the pranks. And in Scotland, the holiday is called Hunt the Gawk, with gawk meaning a foolish person. The prank involves sending someone on a fake errand or a wild goose chase, often accompanied by a note telling them they've been fooled. Historically, this tradition was so popular that the prank could continue for an entire day, with participants trying to trick each other repeatedly. That I would love to be a part of, actually. Mainly because some of my ties go back to Scottish roots. Then we have other countries have their own versions as well. In India, lighthearted pranks are common among friends and family, often focused on humor and social bonding rather than embarrassment. Mexico celebrates Dia de los Esotes on December 28th. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that incorrectly. Correctly, which has a similar prank-oriented spirit. Japan enjoys April 1st jokes, mostly among workplaces and schools, showing the global adaptability of the tradition. And it says here, despite the differences in customs, one thing remains universal. The celebration revolves around laughter, surprise, and harmless fun. From clever tricks to playful hoaxes, April Fool's Day demonstrates the human love for humor and social interaction, making it one of the most enjoyable and widely recognized unofficial holidays worldwide. That's right, it's an unofficial holiday worldwide, not an official one. We're going to make that clear here. Then we go into the psychology behind the celebration. So, April Fool's Day isn't just about pranks. It also taps into human psychology in fascinating ways. Psychologists suggest that people enjoy harmless trickery because it stimulates the brain's reward system, creating feelings of surprise, delight, and laughter. When someone is successfully fooled, both the prankster and the victim often experience a rush of amusement, strengthening social bonds, and shared enjoyment. The tradition also reflects our innate love for play and creativity. Just as children engage in imaginative games, adults use April Fool's Day as an opportunity to explore clever ideas in humorous scenarios. Planning a prank requires observation, timing, and inventiveness, skills that engage the mind while fostering fun. It says here, humor especially in the form of playful deception can also serve as a social equalizer. A harmless joke can break tension, lighten moods, and create a sense of community, whether among friends, coworkers, or even strangers online. It allows people to connect over laughter while maintaining cultural norms that separate fun from harm. Interestingly, studies show that humans are naturally drawn to unexpected events, and pranks provide just the right level of surprise to trigger positive emotional responses. April Fool's Day, therefore, is more than just silly tricks. It's a cultural outlet for stress relief, social bonding, and mental stimulation, making the holiday enjoyable and psychology beneficial. By understanding the psychology behind pranks, we can appreciate why April Fool's Day has persisted across centuries and continues to capture human imagination worldwide. We're getting into the famous historical April Fool's pranks here. Throughout history, April Fool's Day has produced some of the most clever and memorable pranks ever, leaving people both amazed and amused. One of the earliest and most famous examples is the BBC's 1957 Spaghetti Tree hoax. So the program aired a segment showing Swiss farmers harvesting spaghetti from trees, and many viewers unfamiliar with how spaghetti was made believed it. This prank remains iconic for its creativity and widespread impact. In the United States, the Taco Bell Liberty Bell prank of 1996 made headlines when Taco Bell announced that it had purchased the Liberty Bell and was renaming it. This stunt generated massive media attention and demonstrated how corporate pranks could be playful, timely, and shareable. Other notable historical pranks include the left-handed Whopper, introduced by Burger King in 1998, which claims to cater to left-handed customers, and Google's annual April Fool's jokes such as Gmail paper and Google Knows. These pranks show how the tradition has evolved with technology becoming an integral part of pop culture. Even beyond corporations, ordinary people have created memorable tricks, from sending friends on wild goose chases to inventive office jokes. These pranks combine timing, humor, and imagination, reflecting the enduring appeal of April Fool's Day. These famous pranks illustrate not only the creativity involved, but also the social impact of shared humor. They highlight how a well-executed joke can entertain, surprise, and bring communities together reinforcing the timeless charm of this playful holiday. Then we get into some modern day April Fool's celebrations here. Today, April Fool's Day has evolved beyond the simple pranks among friends and family to a global, digitally connected celebration. Social media platforms, websites, and corporations now take part in spreading clever hoaxes that can go viral within hours. For example, companies like Google, Burger King, and Lego have made headlines with imaginative online pranks, engaging millions of users in playful surprise. The rise of the internet has also transformed the way pranks are shared. Social media challenges, memes, and viral videos allow April Fool's Day humor to reach a wider audience than ever before. Even news outlets occasionally join in publishing satirical stories that playfully misled readers while keeping the content harmless. Schools and workplaces often participate too, turning traditional jokes into team building and creative exercises. Lighthearted office pranks, funny email announcements, and playful classroom activities encourage social bonding and boost morale, reflecting the day's role in promoting connection and shared laughter. Despite its evolution, the core of April Fool's Day remains the same: harmless and fun surprise. Modern celebrations demonstrate how the tradition adapts to the contemporary culture while preserving its playful spirit. From viral online hoaxes to small scale personal jokes, April Fool's Day continues to thrive as a day when creativity, humor, and social interaction take center stage. Whether online or offline, the evolving holiday proves that humans have an enduring love for humor, mischief, and shared laughter, ensuring that April 1st remains a, a much anticipated day of fun worldwide. And then we get into some fun facts about April Fool's Day here. April Fool's Day is full of quirky traditions and surprising tidbits that make it one of the most entertaining unofficial holidays. For starters, this day has been celebrated for hundreds of years, yet its exact origins remain a mystery, which adds to its charm. While many associate with pranks, the day is also steeped into cultural variety, from France's Poisson d'Evreux to Scotland's Hunt the Gork, showing how humor transcends borders. A surprising fact is that the media and corporations have elevated pranking to an art form. Google has famously participated every year since 2000 with imaginative hoaxes like Gmail Paper and Google Knows, while other brands have staged elaborate campaigns that fool millions, proving that April 1st creativity is limitless. In addition, April Fool's Day can sometimes create historical curiosities. The BBC spaghetti tree hoax of 1957 caused widespread amazement, with many viewers believing spaghetti literally grows on trees. That actually happened. Similarly, in modern times, viral internet pranks can reach millions worldwide within hours, turning small jokes into global sensations. Another fun fact: the day is often linked to springtime festivals, emphasizing renewal, playfulness, and social bonding. The timing at the start of April may symbolize shaking off the seriousness of winter, welcoming warmth, laughter, and lighthearted fun. I know, because winter sucks. It absolutely sucks. From playful traditions to viral pranks, these fun facts highlight the enduring appeal and versatility of April Fool's Day. It's a day where creativity meets humor, and everyone, regardless of age, can join the shared joy of surprise. Then we get into the cultural significance of pranks. April Fool's Day is more than just a day for laughter. It reflects deeper aspects of human culture and social behavior. Across history, pranks and playful tricks have served as a way to build community, express creativity, and challenging norms without causing harm. They allow people to step outside everyday routines, encouraging spontaneity and joy, or spontaneously, or spontaneity. That's the word I'm looking for. One important cultural function of pranks is social bonding. When executed thoughtfully, a harmless joke can strengthen relationships, whether among friends, co-workers, or family members. Sharing a laughter over a clever prank creates a sense of inclusion and shared experience, making social connections stronger. Pranks also highlight creativity and critical thinking. Planning an effective joke often requires imagination, timing, and careful observation, skills that are valued in many aspects of life. This creative aspect shows that humor is not just entertainment, it's also a form of expression and mental exercise. Culturally, April Fool's Day demonstrates the human tendency to celebrate mischief and playfulness. Many societies have integrated pranks into festivals and seasonal events, showing that humor is a universal language that transcends age, nationality, and social class. Furthermore, pranks can serve as a gentle way to question authority or challenge expectations, especially in historical contexts where humor allows people to comment on social hierarchies safely. In essence, April Fool's Day is more than a fun holiday. It's a cultural tradition that celebrates connection, creativity, and the joy of laughter, reminding us why humans have cherished humor across centuries and civilizations. Then we get into controversies and where pranks go too far, because I know that happens more than we think. While April Fool's Day is meant to be a fun and harmless, not all pranks are received positivity. Over the years, some jokes have crossed the line, causing embarrassment, financial loss, or even public panic. Understanding these controversies highlights the importance of responsible pranking. One well known example is the Taco Liberty Bell prank in '96, which, while humorous, caused confusion and temporary outrage among the public. I mean, you're not going to please everyone, and that's the simple fact of the matter. Similarly, social media outlets have faced backlash for publishing false stories that were interpreted as real news, which would be fake news, demonstrating that hoaxes can unintentionally mislead and harm trust. At a personal level, pranks in schools, workplaces, or social circles can sometimes go too far if they target sensitive issues or humiliate someone. Like bullying, I would never condone any bullying shape or form at all. Uh, and Jokes involving health scares, fake emergencies, or personal attacks are not only unethical but can have serious emotional consequences as well. Legal and safety concerns have also arisen. Some pranks involving property damage, false alarms, or physical risks have resulted in fines or criminal charges. These incidents emphasize the need to balance humor with ethics and safety. I mean, there has to be a balance in there somewhere. Ultimately, the key to a successful April Fool's prank is to keep it harmless, inclusive, and clever. The best pranks evoke laughter without causing fear, shame, or harm. By understanding the potential pitfalls, we can enjoy your April Fool's Day as a day of fun, creativity, and shared joy without crossing boundaries or sparking controversy. And then we get into how we celebrate April Fool's Day safely. April Fool's Day is all about fun, creativity, and shared laughter, but it's important to celebrate responsibility. As a well-planned prank can bring joy, while a thoughtless one can hurt feelings or cause unnecessary stress. Here are some tips for keeping the day safe and enjoyable for everyone. First, focus on harmless and lighthearted pranks. Simple tricks like switching sugar with salt, sending funny notes, or harmless office jokes can create laughter without causing damage or embarrassment. Avoid pranks that involve personal attacks, sensitive topics, or physical risk. Second, consider your audience carefully. What's funny to a close friend may not be funny to appropriate for coworkers or children or strangers. Tailoring your prank to the context ensures it is received positively. And third, embrace digital caution. Social media and online pranks are popular, but false news stories or misleading posts can spread quickly and create confusion. Always keep online jokes obvious and harmless to avoid unintended consequences. Finally, remember the principle of consent and respect. If someone is uncomfortable and apologize and adjust, the goal of April Fool's Day is shared enjoyment, not embarrassment. And by following these guidelines, anyone can celebrate April Fool's Day with creativity and humor while keeping pranks safe, friendly, and inclusive. With a little thought and imagination, this day of tricks can strengthen bonds, spark laughter, and make April 1st a memorable and joyful experience for everyone involved. In conclusion, April Fool's Day has endured for centuries because it taps into something fundamentally human: our love for laughter, surprise, and playful creativity. From its mysterious origins, whether linked to calendar changes in France, Roman festivals, or medieval springtime pranks, the day has evolved into a global celebration of humor that transcends culture, language, and age. The appeal lies not just in the jokes themselves, but in the social connection they foster. Harmless pranks allow people to bond, relieve stress, and enjoy moments of shared delight. Across the world, from France's Poison d'Avril to Scotland's Hot de Gork, and even modern online hoaxes, April 1st demonstrates that humor is a universal language capable of bridging differences and sparking joy. Even in the digital age, the tradition continues to thrive. Social media, viral pranks, and corporate campaigns show that creativity and cleverness are essential to April Fool's Day as ever. Yet, the day also serves as a reminder to celebrate responsibility, ensuring that jokes remain harmless and inclusive. Ultimately, April Fool's Day endures because it combines history, cultural, and human psychology into a single day of fun. It reminds us of the value of laughter, the joy of cleverness, and the importance of connecting with others through lighthearted play. So, whether you're planning a simple office prank or enjoying viral internet hoaxes, April 1st remains a day to embrace humor, celebrate creativity, and share smiles worldwide. And that was the article that was posted a month ago, or about a month and a half ago, of why April Fool's Day is celebrated, history, fun facts, and global traditions. And this has been episode number 64 of the Rock and Wild Show. I'm going to leave you all with a quote from Perspective of the Day, and it goes something like this: "It's okay to let go of people who no longer bring positivity into your life. Your well-being and peace of mind are important. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, support you, and genuinely care about your happiness. Remember, it's not about quantity, but quality when it comes to relationships. Cutting out toxic individuals allows space for new, healthier connections to blossom. Trust your instincts and prioritize your own emotional health. You deserve to be surrounded by love, respect, and understanding. Embrace this opportunity for growth and self care as you create a more fulfilling and enriching social circle." I am your host, Just Mike, and this has been episode number 64 of the Rock Out Wild Show. And on a final note to all of you watching and listening to this all around the world, get plenty of rest and always do your best.